Hi everyone, it's Henry Purchase here, founder of SEOSpace, and you're watching this video because either your Squarespace website isn't showing up on Google or you have Squarespace web pages that aren't showing up on Google. And I know personally how frustrating this can be, but don't worry, because in this video I'm going to go through 5 actionable things that you can go through in order to get your Squarespace website and pages on to Google. So make sure you go through this video, apply the steps that I'm going to show you, and hopefully you will make it onto search engines. Now, obviously here we've got on SEOSpace our feature that actually tells you how many pages on your site aren't indexed, i.e. aren't showing up on Google. And when you scroll down to here, these are all the pages on your website that aren't showing up on Google. And the first thing that I want you to do is request indexing. This is the process of asking Google to display these web pages onto search engines. So for example, on this web page, all I need to do is go to here, press request indexing, and SEOSpace is going to take us across the Google search console, where it's going to be super easy for us to just request indexing and ask Google to show this web page on search engines. So as you can see here, all you need to do is press request indexing, and this is going to ask Google to display this web page on search engines. Now this can take a minute or two, so bear with me. So as you can see here, indexing has been requested. So we've asked Google to display this on search engines. So hopefully this will kick things off. One thing you also want to make sure you do is go to sitemaps. So open sitemaps, the sitemap tab. And essentially this is where you submit your sitemap to Google to tell Google that your website is ready to be displayed. So if you haven't already, just enter sitemap.xml in here. Press submit and submit your sitemap to Google. So that is the first step, request indexing and submit your sitemap. The second one is you want to actually test to see if there's any technical errors that is holding back your SEO on your Squarespace website. And one of the ways you can do that is actually go to test live URL here. And what this is going to do, it's a step further from requesting indexing. It's actually asking Google to go through the web page to tell us if there's anything technically that's holding us back. And this will really give you peace of mind, because I know sometimes it's frustrating. You're thinking, why aren't I showing on Google? Is there something wrong? Well, as you can see here, Google's actually telling us that this URL is available to Google. So request indexing, submit your sitemap, and give yourself peace of mind through this test. Then I actually recommend to wait a few days, because requesting indexing can take 48 hours, sometimes longer. I've even seen it take up to 2 weeks. So I'd probably wait a little bit, come back, see if the web page is indexed, and then move on to step 3. Now, step 3 is a little bit more on the site-wide level. You want to be looking to see if your website is, first of all, old enough, and then also has enough backlinks, because if it's a new domain, you may be in something that's called Google Sandbox, which is basically something where Google holds back new websites from ranking on Google, because it needs to make sure that you're trustworthy and credible. So if your website is less than 3 months old, then that could be a reason you're not showing up on Google. And the second thing within step 3 is you need to check whether you've got enough backlinks. So just going to SEOSpace.co.uk, I'm going to take that URL and I'm going to put it into Ahrefs. Now, for you guys that don't have more advanced SEO tools where you can see this, if you download Keywords Everywhere, which is a Chrome plugin, you can check this on that plugin. But essentially what I'm looking for is DR and backlinks. DR stands for your domain authority, and it's a score Google gives to your website that deems how much of an authority you are in your space. If you don't have enough backlinks, i.e. links from other sites to yours, your domain authority is going to be low, and Google's going to be less likely to take your site seriously. So if you've got pages that aren't showing up on search engines, you might have a low domain authority, and therefore you need to get more backlinks in order for Google to take you more seriously. So to tie off step 3, you want to make sure you've got enough backlinks, as this could be the reason that you're not indexing, particularly for competitive keywords. Now we've done all of that, we've requested indexing, submitted your sitemap, seen if there's anything technically holding you back, you've checked whether your website is too new or it's old enough, and then whether you've got enough backlinks. You then need to look at your on-page SEO. You need to look across your whole website to see if there's anything on other pages that might be holding you back. For example, if you haven't got enough internal links from other web pages to the web pages that aren't being indexed, that may be a reason that they're not indexing. For example, as you can see here, these are new web pages that I've added on SEOSpace. They're my live SEO webinar pages. They're very new and they've got little to no internal links going to them. And that's probably a reason that they're not indexing. They're very new, haven't requested indexing yet. And also there's no internal links going to them. So when Google goes through our website and it looks at the hierarchy of our web pages, there's not many pages linked to these, and therefore Google is less likely to take notice of them and less likely to add them on search engines. So look at the on page, look at your SEO score of your whole website, add internal links, and make sure that you really dial in your on page SEO so that when Google goes through your website, it's very easy to display it on search engines. Now moving on to the fifth step, and this one is something where you sort of need to be, I guess, a little bit brutally honest. You need to look at the web page and just ask yourself whether it's actually worthy of ranking on Google. This is something that I see a lot, especially a lot of people that maybe say that there's a problem with Squarespace and Squarespace isn't very good at indexing on Google and the blogs aren't indexing. Sometimes, to be completely honest, there's just not enough value in the content to warrant it displaying on search engines in the first place. So you need to make sure that the content that you have on that web page really is providing enough value. You've got your keyword optimization on point, because otherwise Google's going to go through that web page, see that there's very little content or very little value on there, and you're less likely to show up on search engines. So type in the keyword that you're aiming for, look at what's already ranking on Google, and see how your page compares to them. If they're miles ahead of you in terms of the quality and the content that they've got on there, well, that's going to be a key indicator to you that the content that's on there just isn't good enough at this point. So all you need to do is work on it, and you're going to boost your chances of ranking higher up on Google. For example, these pages here, if I just open them up on a new web page, these are essentially my live webinar pages. There's really nothing to them other than a link to the video. So to be completely honest, I'm not even sure if these will rank because there's just very little value in them. All they are is a link to a webinar on another website. So when Google goes through these web pages, personally, I don't know whether it will deem them worthy of ranking. But at the end of the day, these aren't really for ranking on Google, and that can sometimes be the case. So it's not necessarily a bad thing if a page isn't indexing, because the purpose of this is purely for people to find my live webinars via here, and I don't really mind if it's not ranking on Google. So that is something to bear in mind. That is something that can sometimes happen. And then moving on to the sixth and final step, what I want you to do after you followed steps 1 to 5, I want you to review this section of SEOSpace every fortnight. Sometimes these issues can take a while to fix, especially if you need to get some more backlinks, and really looking at SEO in the medium to long term, in my opinion, is a better way to do it. Because if you focus on adding more pages, adding more blogs, working on your on-page SEO, you're eventually going to get to a point where a couple of pages not indexing on Google really isn't going to make a difference. However, if it is an important page, doing steps 1 to 5 will make a difference. And of course, if you've got any questions or you're facing any challenges that are outside of what I've discussed, feel free to add a comment below on YouTube and I'll happily get back to you. But of course, in the meantime, have a fantastic time using SEOSpace, and I'm hoping that these pages get indexed on Google very soon.